Hi, this is Franz Cantor, cartoonist, illustrator and toon talker, and I'm here with...
Jim Bridges, and I'm the president of the Australian Cartoon Museum.
Okay, so today I'm being spoilt, and we're talking about a favourite cartoonist and writer of mine, Mike Mignola. Mike Mignola, of course, is the artist and writer behind Hellboy, and this hefty tome here, the Mike Mignola, The Art of Hellboy, is by Dark Horse Press, and it's a beautiful cloth-bound book, and it's all about Hellboy. So obviously, but
can we just go back to sort of see the first draw? No, previous page.
Yeah,
there's a medieval European feeling
motif
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skulls hanging from trees and stuff.
Well, isn't the bodies in the trees sort of like from the
well, it's medieval.
Yeah, but it's the Arthur legend, isn't it?
Yes, but yeah, well, that's medieval.
Well, okay, so Hellboy, this is a beautiful watercolor. Hellboy comes out of an idea that Mike Mignola had in the 80s, I believe, where he created this character. This is it here, the first drawing of Hellboy. This is the first drawing of Hellboy. So from here, he used to...
it's a very scary gherkin.
Well, he
why
would...
Why has he got fish and crabs hanging off his belt?
Well, I think
that's very different to the Batman utility belt.
Yeah, this is 1991. So the legend of Hellboy, how he pitched it to Dark Horse, he was in a lift, and the editor of Dark Horse said to him, well, okay, everyone's doing some stuff, what are you doing? And he just mentioned that he's doing this comic book called Hellboy, so it kind of came from that. But you could tell he had a great interest in Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft, and legends, myths and legends of Europe and Greece and worldwide.
Was he influenced by Kirby's Demon?
I don't know. There are a lot of artists influenced by Kirby because of Kirby's
well, that's very Kirby.
Mode of exaggerating musculature, and Mignola brought something else to the equation, which was this beautiful chiaroscuro.
Yes, it's very beautiful, very beautiful.
Yeah, so he's got this. He's got a very.
Here he is. Yeah. Is there a story why one arm's bigger than the other one?
Well, that's the Hand of Doom. So it's to do with the mythology. It's
He's really mixing his symbolism there, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I think that's supposed to be an earlier version of what's his name?
I'll never forget what's his name.
Yeah, I'll never forget what's his name. Rasputin the Mad Monk.
Oh, yeah.
So he was brought back by the Nazis, employed by the Nazis to bring back Hellboy.
Okay.
This is an earlier version of Abe Sapien, who's sort of an ichthyosaurian type of character. This is some of the earlier homunculus style things. This is an earlier version of. I think this is a fire starter, so this is an earlier version of Liz.
Okay.
So he creates some characters that this is an early lineup.
Yeah.
Of the BPRD.
It's a wonderful.
The Bureau of Paranormal Response and Action, or whatever they call it, BPRD.
Do you think he was influenced by the Never-Ending Story? There's that character who's made of rocks.
I think these are more a homage to Kirby's rock people.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Yeah. 94.
Yeah.
Okay. I can hardly wait to get into this. So let's move.
Mignola is a very consummate graphic designer, and he brings beautiful graphic design to his work. His pen style is very simplistic and almost chunky in its use of solid blacks and harsh whites and very...
Alex Toth.
Yes, there's a lot of influences he would have been aware of. He would have studied under Alex Toth
but it looks like every drawing I've seen so far is a poster drawing. You know, there's this natural design. You know.
Well, that's the other thing. The other reason
why, very dramatic.
Well, he draws like that. I'm presuming he doesn't draw a lot. I'm presuming he draws what he does draw. He puts a lot of effort into. So there are no.
Hellboy is the world's greatest paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
Well, this could be, this is 40s, isn't it?
Yeah, well, these are like a sci-fi trope where the girl, being held captive by the brutes.
The Red Skull sort of character.
Yeah, Herman von Klemp. Yeah, the Mad Doctor. So there's a lot of... the thing about him is he'll explore all of these tropes, these cliches, right? And he'll explore them to the extent that, like, he'll do some incredible research.
Is this his version of Kirby Crackle?
Yeah. He'll get into Kirby Crackle later on.
Oh, look how he connects the sound effect to the actual words.
Well, this is his design, his background in graphic design. So, he is a beautiful, beautiful designer. His layouts are flawless. His compositions, his storytelling methodology in a comic form are absolutely incredibly, powerful and strong. And this is like, if you're looking at a comic book, to me, reading this from the early 90s, from the very first issue, this was, to me, like an opera. This is like an opera.
Yes, so he look at that scene there.
Easily do, Wagner's... Ring trilogy.
Yes, as Hellboy.
This is a typical composition of his. He'd sort of do a pyramidal composition with some, angles, design elements and things. Hellboy is a two-fisted action hero. He uses a gun. He fights the paranormal, the supernatural. Of course, he is kind of like the unwilling beast of Armageddon. So he's like a devil.
Are they sawn off horns?
Yeah, he keeps them cut because he is a friend of humans. He regards
okay. I just thought
he is a son of humanity rather than the son of the devil.
Yeah, here's this
he's going against the against the grain, and that's what makes him such a strong hero. Because he's ignoring the...
If Michelangelo did comics.
Yeah. Well, Mike Mignola explores everything and researches everything to an incredible level. So the stories, the characters, the backgrounds, any little detail, broken... Anything, there's some Kirby Crackle, but even it's his...
he softened it.
Well, it's given more character to his universe.
He's done more with less. That's what he does.
Well, I think I don't want to upset anyone, but I really love this guy's work. I think that his best work is comparable, if not far surpasses anything that Kirby did. And
but I mean, you can see the drama and the operatic style, and all that stuff. But
this example of his research,
it's just Kirby.
Research how the characters move. The chunkiness of Hellboy's body, how he moves in three-dimensional space, how he stresses and strains.
So instead of shots of him shaving, you see him sawing his horns off, or what? You have shots like that. Well, see, that's uncomic-like.
Yeah.
This is. I see. That's definitely
Rasputin's from a famous photograph. Yeah. So this is a famous photograph of the Third Reich. So these are like earlier illustrations from the hardcover book.
Is that supposed to be someone like?
That's Professor Bruttenholm.
Okay.
That's his father, his Earth father, who adopted him in 1945.
The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, done by Dürer, and there's this reverse triangle.
Apologies to Albrecht Dürer.
Yeah. Are these comic covers? They all look like they're comic covers.
He does a lot of variant covers because the comic is, reprinted in book form in trade, which is a collected story. He usually puts out 4 or 5 or 6 books a year, comic books, and then they're collected in a trade. And of course, I would buy the trade as well as the comic books because there'd be different covers and different artwork. So
nothing.
Yeah, he'll explore all of the horror genres. So the werewolf stories, the vampire stories, the witches. The Fae people, Fae. You know, the fairies.
They're about to bury this guy.
Yeah.
And hello, boys, I'm looking for a baby. A baby?
Well, this is the fairy folk, right? So there's a lot of, fantasy and horror genres which he taps into.
And this sort of Celtic stuff.
Yeah, both, realistic, historical Celtic history and
but it's
a lot of stuff to help him with the stories.
He'd be bigger in Europe than America, wouldn't he?
Well, he's reprinted in Europe, in German and French and Spanish.
But his sources are European. Even his drawing is influenced by.
Well, influenced by European legends and stories. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So he explores. The thing I love about him, he'll play with things. So this is kind of like an exploration of film noir.
Yeah.
So he'll play with chiaroscuro, with storytelling and using symbols inside to break. He breaks up
fish,
the narrative.
These.
Yeah.
And he's using a different style of drawing, like these.
But you see, having the architecture, the architrave talk, great, what's next?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the architrave isn't talking, he's just having fun with the genre.
How cute I was. There he is as a little kid.
So here, this is his method of storytelling. It's very much tied in. The way he writes to draw, and he draws to write. So they're really inextricably linked. Yeah.
That gag there. And this leads up and then leads down.
Yeah.
These are all covers.
Yeah, these are all covers. Different covers.
I tell you what, if they're ever going to do the ring...
Yeah. Look how he is playing with things, playing with skeletons and graphic design.
Yeah, he's broken it up like the flame and the
squid
fingers.
people.
And this is like, the backbone and the feathers, blackbirds and stuff.
So to help him, the brightest colour in Hellboy is always Hellboy. So everything else is played very, very minimalist.
Okay.
And he'll do things like have a figure in complete silhouette or a face in complete silhouette and have the glasses or the eyes just pick up the light.
Less is more.
Yes, but he knew how to use less is more.
Yeah.
He knew how to do it. Yeah, these are more of his covers, of course. Uses this typical zigzag
putting eyes in a skull
design. There's some Kirby crackle for you.
Oh yeah, but he softened it. This bloke does less drawing, but Kirby was in a hurry. This bloke does less drawing, but he's not in a hurry. You don't get that feeling he's in a hurry because Kirby, at his height, is doing 5 comics a month.
These are studies. These are all studies to inform the comics, the other comics that he's working on, the other stories.
Well, he's trying to do something with it. He hasn't achieved
marsupials.
He hasn't achieved a scary kangaroo yet.
No, well,
but that's a great little half demon there.
And homunculus style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sort of suits with the
man, myth, legend.
Well, it really suits with the style of.
He'll do crossovers with the Spirit.
Spirit Batman, yeah. And there's
10th anniversary.
What's his name?
Yeah. Well, this is for a cover of Batman. I don't know what this is for actually. It's just another.
Punk science fiction. That sort of
crossover.
Yeah, it's
anniversary issue cover.
Ooh, the lady in white.
Well, it's the ghost.
Yeah.
Dark Horse's ghost character. So
she carries a gun
with her. Yes, she does. Yeah.
She carries a gun.
So.
And this is Greek in origin, isn't it?
Yep. It's almost Zardoz.
Yes.
John Borman.
Yeah.
So this is a typical gumshoe sort of a film noir pose of the detective. He's a paranormal detective.
And there's
this is a book
pulp,
cover.
There's pulp art.
Christopher Golden's beautiful book.
There's pulp.
The Lost Army.
There's pulp covers,
Yeah. Well, he's created, the thing about him, he's created this rich world. So Abe Sapien and the BPRD, the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense,
The whole tree is bleeding.
They have spin-off titles. They have spin-off stories.
Can you imagine if you see that in a Japanese animation or something with the whole tree bleeding?
Well, he does. He's explored the Japanese myths as well. So there's a beautiful story in the animated one of his animated adventures.
Aztec.
Yeah. This is what he loves. He loves to explore different cultures.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This is the Japanese story.
Utamaro.
Yeah. So even his signature and the placement of objects is very Japanese.
Yes. Yes. There's a triangle again. Like the hero coming out.
But it's not Japanese manga.
The hero.
It's Japanese high art.
Yeah, that's right. This is the hero. You know.
Yeah, the pyramid
evolving
construction.
out of the chaos and the mess and the story.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. That's everyone's practically an icon, aren't they?
Yeah.
But what's his narrative like? I mean,
the narrative is truncated. The narrative is very truncated, like you would expect in a film noir film. So it's very How do I explain it? It's short. It's staccato. It is paced beautifully. There is an emphasis on the visual more so than the literal.
Father Christmas.
So you are to read it when you read a Hellboy comic or any of his comics. You have a sense in a way that you're participating in the experience in a different way every time you read it.
Well, that's what I call a rough.
Yeah.
Chain coffin.
So again, the colours are always subservient to, the red of the big guy.
That could be Robert Crumb with a bit of weight on and a moustache. Well, this is very interesting. The way he does horns too is really interesting too.
Yeah.
There's a lizard tree.
Yeah.
And there's, what's his name? Can't remember.
Starman, is it? Or
look at this, is beautiful, beautiful. He's got this lovely
Dr. Solar or something. What is that guy? Another DC character.
Okay, so was he published in DC or he was always Dark Horse?
No, he's always Dark Horse.
Okay, so he's independent.
Yeah. Well,
this is what I want to see. Okay, so
yeah.
Any of his comics in black and white?
Some. I think some of the earlier stuff for the Comic Cons were in black and white, but these are typical of his black and white work. It's interesting. I don't actually know whether he uses pen or felt pen. I mean, you could get this effect with either. That's the truth of it. I presume it's felt pen.
So he
does a beautiful job.
He doesn't run around Gotham or New York or stuff.
No, BPRD is in Connecticut, I believe, the headquarters. But he'll travel around the world, and of course he's quite old.
How does he travel?
He's about 60 now, so he's gone through different eras. Normal. He's a big guy. He goes by bus or by plane, and he just sits there. And that's the beauty of the story. People just have to get used to him being around. He's there to help.
Okay, they get used to him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I get used to him. He looks...
So he's a heavy drinking, heavy smoking character. He loves pizza and cats. And
bats out of
this
hell.
character is slightly different to the character that Ron Perlman plays in the movie, in the Guillermo del Toro movies. Of course, the two of those.
Yeah, well, that's a great marriage of actor and character, isn't it?
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous about the
how the hell are they going to do it
first.
No.
Well, the thing is, you have to let go because the character's slightly different. It's slightly different than the comic.
HB pencil.
Yeah, Hellboy. Yeah. HB.
Well, very interesting.
So, yeah, this is a perfect example of how much research he'll do into the costumes and the details.
But then he simplifies them down to...
Well, he'll own the design. He'll draw them down into his particular design. Yeah.
Okay, now he's reading books. but not any sort of books. The books that have the secrets of the universe in them.
Yeah, and this is the coins.
Yeah.
This is another favourite character of mine. He's the Lobster Johnson. Lobster Johnson is a...
Lobster Johnson?
Well, he's sort of a caricature.
He's out of the Second World War. He's Black Hawk or something.
Yeah, well, he's more aligned to the old serials.
Is that him? Yeah, the old serials, yeah. And it's great, you don't have to show the eyes. There's much more menacing, you know?
Yeah.
Not showing the eyes.
Well, there's some text to Kirby Crackle.
That's not Kirby Crackle, that's just filling in.
Yeah.
What do you call the fine stuff?
Rapidograph?
No, what do you actually call the effect?
Crosshatch?
No, this
stipple.
Stipple. Well, that's not what you call a stipple. Looks like
it's fat stipple.
It's stubble.
Stobble.
Stobble, yeah. We just invented a word there. Oh, does he have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
He does.
Liz Sherman. She's a fire starter.
Okay. There's a lot of Lovecraft here, isn't there?
There is a love of Lovecraft. There's a love of Lovecraft. If you don't understand Lovecraft, this is a great entry into Lovecraft, because he'll touch upon the old gods and all of this.
I would like to see him draw a
mythology.
I'd like to see him draw a Thor story.
Well, this is a Thor story.
Okay.
He gets the hammer.
No,
this
but
is from a book.
I'd like to see.
And he can't let go of the hammer because the hammer chooses you. The Mjolnir chooses you.
Yeah. I would like, and here it is. I'd like to see him actually draw the Thor character.
Yeah.
And actually, if he did the...
Well, this is the Thor character.
If he did the storyboards to a Thor film, I think it'd change it dramatically. They just...
Well, Well, his work and style is, extremely powerful, extremely individualistic. They used him, obviously, in Disney to design the
Kirby.
Atlantis, New Gods.
Yeah.
So, and there's homage to Kirby Brutes.
Yes.
The mole minions, etc.
Yeah.
The lizard people. So there's a love. This is the thing about
Mignola. Yeah. He's forever referencing those sorts of things.
So when he references something like the wee folk, the leprechauns, Abigara, and the her and the hunter and the nature spirits and the Celtic swirls and mysteries and Kirby tropes and what's the other artist you mentioned before? Does a lot of black and white.
That's a Kirby. Alex Toth.
Alex Toth.
Yeah.
So film noir and pyramid.
Look at
type of compositions.
He's so confident. He
does it with a lot of style and a lot of love. There's a lot of love here.
Yes.
Even in the most insignificant elements.
Put bones in there.
Yeah.
And all these are famous sculptures and paintings and tapestries and stuff.
Yeah, he references a lot of stuff. But he'll study it and he'll own it. He'll import it into the story.
I'm glad you said that he does.
The way that he'll do little sketches to look at these lions.
Yeah.
The scary thing about lions.
When they're filmed
night,
at night with those cameras, that's all you see.
Yeah.
The same with all cats.
Yeah,
they're beautiful.
These
cats.
are beautiful lion studies, head studies, so you can get a handle on drawing the lions, on owning the lions. In his particular style.
So,
he'll draw African characters. With the beautiful, the jewelry and the clothing and the stances and the caricatured heads where their ears stick out and their beards and different kinds of styles of people. And strange
I've never
chimera
I've never seen anything
concoctions.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. Well, look at his fish god. To do the fish god, he'll experiment with drawing all these different fish. They're caricatures of fish.
Yes. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You can caricature anything, furniture, anything. And this is
But he'll do it in a way to own it, to incorporate it into his stories, into his legends. So everything is done with an enormous amount of empathy and understanding. And when he does a whale, this is what's that? The blue whale, isn't it? You know, I mean, look at this blue whale.
That's a humpback. That's a
humpback.
Yeah.
Look at the barnacles on this whale.
Yeah, well, they do have
He's
those.
owned the whale. I mean, look at his
Well, this is like a
his design technique of breaking up dark to light.
Yeah, who was that? That's a Houdini picture. You know, like he's
With the chains.
chained and he's in watery environment. You know,
Yeah.
without the box.
Well, yeah,
Oh yeah.
these are like fish goddesses and mermaids.
Yeah.
So he won't do a classic mermaid
No,
like in the Little
no,
Mermaid.
no.
He'll do this.
Yeah, he makes
You know,
up
that's
his,
what's
makes
so
up his own
exciting about
mermaids.
him.
Makes
Yeah.
up his own mermaids.
So in a way, there is
all his research is actually left on the page. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like chains, for instance. I've never seen chains like that, but they're so they're new. They're like, you know,
Well, he researched everything, as I said, down
chop,
to
chop,
chains.
chop.
Yeah. Everything's beautifully
I think we've
researched.
seen that before.
You know, when he designs ivy around a
Yeah.
sculpture, it's his ivy. When
Yeah.
he designs the dead tree, it's his dead tree. So, I mean, these are particularly...
Is that his father? Is that his father or something?
No, that's him.
Oh.
That's him.
Well, he
in
went,
full
he
horn.
went on holidays and let his beard grow.
Yeah.
Well, look at that design. And, you know, what sort of gun is that?
That's a special.
Well, this is Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah.
I don't think that is. Ooh, look at this! Look at this! Great stuff! Great stuff!
That's one of the Japanese stories.
Yeah, great stuff. Because they have a lot of horror and really strange, sexual, weird stuff. The Japanese. So it's a wonder he doesn't get into that. But
Yeah, he uses
it's his own world, isn't
symbols. Yeah, this is what he does. He'll play with everything. You know, like he'll
The
put
comic
in
is currently translated into half a dozen languages.
yeah. So he'll play with things like symbols and shapes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that bat's obviously, you know, in the foreground, but it's just he has a propensity for abstract, and he will use that and draw it into the composition.
Well, thanks for introducing me to him. He's quite a fella, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very impressed.
He's definitely a heavyweight in the comic business.
Yeah, and there's the symbols on the...
Yeah. So, his work is
I'd
very
like to
much
see him go back
appreciated.
into the primitive past and have cave art and all that sort of stuff. I wonder if he's done stuff like that. But I think you're right, he owns it. That's the way to describe it. He does his research and he owns it.
He's a very powerful storyteller and a very powerful artist. And the beauty about him, of course, is he loves what he draws. He loves everything about it.
But he couldn't do funny
and the
animals.
story.
He couldn't do funny animals.
He does do occasionally.
I think there
Hellboy
seems to be a
Jr..
lot of humour in his work, like sort of unexpected sort of...
We'll show you some more Hellboy in the coming weeks, I think. We'll
Okay.
explore
I
Hellboy
look forward to it. Okay, this is Jim Bridges and
Jr. Franz Cantor.
saying we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Good stuff.